Hello again, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb. Liz Hernandez here with y'all on this here channel, Coffee Powered Home, where I share things with you and you guys watch. Today's video is brought to you by a company called VEVOR. They are a shop on Amazon that sells heat presses and other assorted machinery. They reached out to me and said, we will send you this 8-in-1 heat press situation in exchange for an honest review. So that's what we're going to do today, because although I already have a heat press, as y'all already know if you have seen any of my videos, I have always wondered how these 8-in-1 combination presses work. So I was like, sure, let's do it. So we're going to figure all that out. Today's video is basically going to be a quick overview of what comes with this product, how to change up all the attachments on it, and how it works in general. So thank you again to VEVOR for sending me this machine for free. Free. I do have a link for this particular item in the description if you're interested. There's also a 10% off code that they sent very, very kindly. So yeah, if you're interested, after you see how it all works, if you think that this might be a good fit for you, there's a link. I myself already have a press, so I will be sending this one to a dear friend of mine. But let's see how it does. Let's see how it holds up. Quick rundown of the general information. It is the VEVOR 12x15 heat press. It is an 8-in-1. It's going right now for about $260, $261. Try and be sneaky with that 99 cents. But again, there is a 10% off coupon code in the description of this video in case you're interested in looking at that. It does come with various attachments. So it does have a fully assembled machine. Comes with a hat press, 4 mug press attachments, 2 plate presses, and a few little stuff and things. Obviously, it does not come with any blanks or anything like that. You gotta get your stuff on the side. So let's look at the actual machine. So this is pretty much all the stuff that came in the box, all laid out for y'all to see. A bunch of things. We got first the controller, the digital controller, which goes from 200 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. We've got the 12x15 Platen that is a swing away. It also included, obviously, the instruction manual, power cable, some suction cups so that it doesn't slide around everywhere. And that little black thing is just some knobs used for the pressure. We've got the plate press, we got the hat press situation, and then the frame for the mug press, along with all the 4 attachments that it comes with, which I believe are a 6-ounce, 11-ounce, and then there's the tapered ones, which are 12-ounce and 17-ounce tapered parts for that. Yeah. Coming from someone who is very easily overwhelmed, I can imagine that most people who order these 8-in-1 combo heat presses might feel a little intimidated by the fact that, you know, you have to be switching parts and pieces to be able to use all these other attachments. And you may be tempted to just use the regular heat press part and leave everything else in a box for the rest of your life, because relatable. But today we are going to figure out how to put all these pieces together. Hopefully it's simple so that you guys can do this if you have this press or if you're interested in one of these combination type packages. So let's see if I could do it. If I can do it, then you can do it. You'll be just fine. So the first thing you got to do is attach the controller. So it's got that piece on the side and it has that little plug-in area. That piece on the side is going to slide right into the side of the main heat press. It's got that little situation where you just pop it on. And then the next thing you would do is take the cable that is attached to the actual heat press part, and it has those 4 little prong holes. There's a little notch on it as well, so you just kind of make sure you line it up the right way, plug it in, and twist it tight so that it's good to go. There's that little knobby thing I was talking about before. That is basically you just screw it onto the top of the pressure wheel, and it's supposed to help you turn it, but I honestly found it easier to turn it manually without that thing. It does swivel 360 degrees. And when you open it up, it opens about less than an inch or so. So not a whole lot of wiggle room there. Then we've got the plate attachment. So if you wanted to connect the plate press, you have to unscrew the top of the heat platen, and it just comes right off. I almost forgot, but make sure that you unplug it from the controller, and that just scoots right out of the way. So pretty simple. And then those two screws on the top of the plate press just slip right into that spot where that was. So you'll see, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see. Pop it up and into the groove, and then just tighten it up again. And that is the plate press. Make sure you adjust your pressure so that you get a firm press. Next, we're going to look at the mug attachments. So what you're going to want to do is, you could leave it on the machine. For whatever reason, I moved it off, but as long as you're still connected to your power, each of the mug attachments have that cable. So again, each attachment you use, you just make sure you plug it into the digital controller and adjust your pressure. So there's 4, screws on each side, and those correspond to the holes on the side of the mug press frame. You just pop them into their places, tighten it up, and put a mug in there so you can check your pressure settings. So if it's not tight enough, you just rotate it. You can see how I'm just tightening it up a little bit to get a good firm press. There you go. Now for the hat press, you're going to want to loosen those little thingamajigs on the bottom as per the video. Pretty simple. That whole bottom platen just pops right off, and you'll notice that there's that little slidey thing. All the technical terms here, of course. You slide the hat press thingy on, and then the actual hat press, the hot part, screws on just the same as the other pieces. So it's pretty simple, honestly. They all connect in basically the same way. Connect it to the controller, and then screw it onto that thing. That one needed to be loosened a little bit because I didn't want to slide on. And there we go. All good in the hood. Make sure you adjust your pressure though. So that wasn't too bad. Now that we know how to put it all together, let's actually test the presses to see if it heats up well and has a good end result. So let's see. So I set my temperature at 400 degrees for 60 seconds and went ahead and prepped the shirt as I always would. I did get a little bit confused because I usually put a piece of parchment paper or butcher paper underneath to move it, but I was like, we have a swing away, so let's try and lay the shirt out directly onto the press this time instead of transferring it how I usually do. But I made a crucial mistake. I didn't fix the pressure after switching it from a different attachment, so I didn't check that, so there wasn't enough pressure, so I got a lot of ghosting. I had a lot of issues with this one. It was a fail. It was a fail, but I will do one more because I made some mistakes, some user errors on my part, but we're going to give it another go. Okay, so let's try this again. Last time I hadn't corrected the pressure. It was a little bit loose. So I did get ghosting, and then I also let it run too long because I didn't realize that you need to push the down button to start the timer. It does not automatically start the timer. Keep that in mind. Also, when I was opening it, I did bump the transfer. So there was a lot of issues in terms of user error. So I'm going to give it another go, this time with an adult shirt. Again, the swivel or the swing away aspect is nice because, you know, I'm not burning my fingers while I'm laying something out, but you do have to be aware of the cords and things and making sure you don't bump things when you are opening and closing the press. Also, you have to accommodate for the space. So even though it looks smaller and you would think it's more space saving, you have to make sure you have space around you to be able to swivel. So it's just something to keep in mind if you're looking at these as a space-saving option. So this time I'm going to go ahead and put this down. I'm doing a 2X this time, so it's a big adult size shirt. I made sure that the print stayed within the 12 by 15 parameter. I skipped a few steps because this is just going to be for me, so I didn't tear the edges because I don't care. It's just for me. It's all right. You also need to turn off the beep once it's done. Now, when I release the pressure, it might be because my suction cups aren't on the press right now, but there was a bit of a jiggle, so I might expect a little bit of ghosting, depending on how well that tape held up with my press. I've noticed that the paper is definitely a little bit more scorched than it is on my typical press, my regular press. So it may mean that this press runs a little bit hotter, and that's all right. Okay, I'm going to rip this off. Much better, much better. So let me show you guys. So this time I kept all of those errors that I made before in mind, and we have a much better result. I'm not worried. There's no ghosting, right? Looks good. Color's vibrant. This is a 65% polyester shirt. That worked. Good job, VEVOR. All right, next I'm gonna prep the mug and see how that goes. So I just cut out my design, taped it on with some heat resistant tape. I set the heat press to 385 degrees this time for 190 seconds to see how that goes. Now, disclaimer, the mug is too big for this press, okay? This is a 15-ounce mug in an 11-ounce press. So keep that in mind when I show you the result. Timer's done. I'm gonna go ahead and, oh, shoot. I'm gonna release this. Oof. All the movement, but again, I usually use a Cricut press. Pull all this off. All right, well, I have thoughts. Here's my mug. Now, in the areas where the design was covered by the actual mug press, it came out pretty good, pretty vibrant. Just here on the edge, it got pretty close to where the paper ends. So there was definitely not enough pressure, and the design was too close to the handle. But keep in mind, this is an 11-ounce press, and I only have 15-ounce mugs, so I had to use what I had. But in terms of, you know, the actual result, I'm not mad. I just need to keep in mind that you, first of all, use the right the right size mug, but otherwise, yeah, I mean, not bad. Now, since I didn't have any hats on hand, instead of using this for a hat, I saw a video where somebody actually used the hat press to put tags onto their shirts. So they use screen print, but I don't have obviously any screen print transfers. So I sublimated a fake tag. I know it's missing some information, but it was just to mess around. Still, once again, user error. When I screwed this thing on, I didn't screw it centered. So the heat press was a little bit off, or the hat press on the top was a little bit off. So I didn't get the pressure at the top. One more again, it was user error. But again, in the areas where the heat press did touch the shirt, it's aight. Overall thoughts. I think the machine does what it says it's gonna do. If you happen to get a lemon, you know, then again, there's a 30-day return policy, which is great. But I think that it does okay. Obviously, some of the issues that I had were definitely user error. But I know that if I took the time to get to know all the settings and use the right mugs and equipment and adjusted things and the pressure the way it's supposed to be, I think it would have done a lot better. Would I buy this? It depends on what you want to do with it. I think if your focus is more baby and kid items for like t-shirts and stuff, the size is pretty decent. Like I did a design for a 2X adult shirt on that press. I personally don't like the limitation of the size though. So for me, it would have to be a minimum of 15 by 15 for me to go out and pay money for it. So keep that in mind, because you might think that you just want to do small items or kids clothes, but you never know, you know what I'm saying? So take that into consideration, that it is a limitation. Otherwise, I think that all the different attachments it comes with are definitely cool. Um, and it wasn't as bad as I thought in terms of how long it takes to switch around the attachments. I thought it was going to be way more complicated than just basically loosening a screw and slipping in a different attachment. So not bad. Things to keep in mind would just be when you do switch the attachments, make sure you adjust the pressure settings before pressing anything, because that was my big mistake too, is not fixing the pressure and not using obviously the right size mug. But otherwise, not too shabby, not too shabby. So thank you once again to VEVOR for sending the machine. And yeah, that was an experience. So if y'all would like to get that, again, the link is in the description. There's a 10% off code. But you know, do your research, do your own research, and make an informed decision. So that is all. I will see y'all next time. Bye.
If I close my eyes and think about us, I can see the person I know I should be. 'Cause honestly, I don't have no time to waste. I'm trying to come back to you because now I see